Chapter 27. A Phone Call. The second I walked in the door, my mother practically shouted in my face, "Tony Castaneda called! She wants you to call her back! I wrote down the number." "Okay," I said as I walked past her, then started down the hall. "Wait, where are you going?" "To take a leak, if you don't mind. It was a long drive home." "I mind your attitude." In the bathroom, I splashed my face with cold water and stared at my reflection. It's never been easy for me to just call up a girl on the phone. I had to psych myself up first. You would think it would have been easy in this case, since I hated Tony, and since I was just calling her back. You would think. My mother was waiting for me as I stepped out of the bathroom, Tony's phone number in her hand. For someone who supposedly hated the Castanedas, she was awfully insistent. I went to my room and called Tony on my cell. "Hello? Tony?" I asked. "No, this is her father. Who's this?" For the record, although his initial hello might have been slightly high-pitched, Tony's father had a normal masculine voice. "Alton," I said. I didn't get that. "Alton," I repeated. I don't think I've ever said my name just one time to anyone. A short while later, Tony came on the line. "Hi, Alton," she said cheerfully. "My mom said you called," I said cheerlessly. "Your mom seems really cool," said Tony. That answered the question. Of course, everyone knew the Castanedas were bonkers. I stared out my window at the disaster known as our backyard and waited for her to say whatever it was she had called to say. She got right to it. "Why do you pretend you don't know how to play bridge?" she asked. "What do you mean?" I asked, neither admitting to nor denying her accusation. I felt like I'd been caught, but I wasn't quite sure what I was being accused of. "You knew about the takeout double," she said. "I saw it in your eyes. And you're always trying to guess what card he'll play before he plays it." "I might have picked up a little watching him play," I said. "You need to tell him," he said. "He'd love it if you played bridge. He's always saying how he wishes more young people would take up the game. He's afraid that bridge is like a dying culture. He's worried that in like 30 years there will be no one left to play it." "Well, I've never actually played," I said, "and I never can figure out what bid he's going to make." Bidding is not that hard once you learn the basics. Trap and Gloria use a complicated system and I'm trying to learn it, but you don't have to do all that. You just have to know which bids are game-forcing, which ones are invitational, and which ones are just cooperative. The words meant nothing to me. "Okay," I said hesitantly. She laughed. "I can teach you," she offered. I thought it over. "Okay, sure," I said. "Maybe we can have a game," she said. "Do you know 2 other people who might want to play?" I knew one for sure. Leslie had been dying to play. "My sister," I said. "She's only 11, but she's real sharp. And I have a friend who's really good at cards." "Great," said Tony. "How about tomorrow?" I told her I'd check with my friend first and call her back. It's funny how you can go from hating a girl to maybe liking her a lot, just because she shows a little interest in you. I pictured Tony in my mind. Her shy smile, the freckles across the bridge of her nose, the way she concentrated so intently when she was playing bridge with Trap. I was reminded of the girl who had sat next to me in freshman algebra. We didn't have traditional desks. 2 students shared a table. I'd watch her out of the corner of my eye as she tried to factor algebraic equations. She was oblivious to the world around her, oblivious that I was sitting next to her, as she chewed on the tip of her eraser. It made my heart ache. She was so beautiful. That girl had blonde hair, and Tony's hair was dark, but they both had that same look of innocent and total concentration. I called Cliff. I should tell you that so far, when I've recounted my conversations with Cliff, I've left out certain descriptive words. It's not that we're especially vulgar or crude. It's just that those kind of words seem worse in print than we would just say them in an offhand way. I think I've been able to omit those words and still give you a fairly accurate amount of what was said between us. However, if I were to try to repeat what Cliff said when I asked him if he wanted to play bridge, I'd have to leave out every other word. Let's just say he wasn't overjoyed with the idea. Still, he was my best friend, and when he realized I was serious, adverb deleted, and that it was important to me, adverb deleted, he agreed to play, adverb deleted. But afternoon only, he said. "Katie and I have plans for tomorrow night." He normally wouldn't have mentioned Katie. He would have said something like, "I'm busy tomorrow night." I think he just wanted to twist the knife a bit, since he'd agreed to do me a favor. As I expected, Leslie was thrilled to finally get to play bridge. She wasn't too thrilled, however, that Cliff would be our fourth. He's a big goof-off, she said. He won't concentrate on the game. He'll just make stupid jokes. Leslie was a lot like her Uncle Lester. She took her bridge very seriously. Besides, Leslie said. What? She didn't say, but I knew what she was thinking. She blamed Cliff for what happened between Katie and me. Like a football coach getting his team ready for the second half, once again I had to pump myself up to call Tony. You would think it would have been easier for me the second time, but you would be wrong. She answered the phone this time. We're on, I said. You, me, Cliff, and Leslie. I told her 2 o'clock, and she said she was looking forward to it. So why did you call me? I asked, regretting the question as soon as it came out of my mouth. What do you mean? What I meant was this. We hadn't exactly been friendly at the bridge studio. She mostly ignored me, and my attitude toward her can best be described as surly. But I didn't say that to Tony. Never mind, I said. I was just surprised. You called. My grandmother told me to, said Tony. Oh, okay, I said. Well, see you tomorrow. You'll really like Cliff.